Hey guys, I'm Morthadon, and we are back for the final episode, Vinland Saga Season 2, Episode 24. Yeah, so this is the end for now. I've read, even though it actually felt like it could be, like, if they never did more after the last episode anyway, I'd be like, alright, they go on their journey and they each go do their stuff. Like, I feel like we don't necessarily need more, but I have heard that it's, like, unconfirmed, which the fact that it's unconfirmed whether we're getting a season 3 tells me that whatever this was based off of, like the manga or visual novel or short story or whatever it is, it still has more content after this, I guess. Because I feel like they just say like, no, it did everything from the manga, if that was the case. So, but what I read online was that it's not confirmed to have a date, but it's not confirmed to be canceled. So we could still get more. So yeah, I'm interested. I can't wait to see how we wrap this up. I did see that this episode title was called Home, so I do have a rough idea. We might be going back to Green. Shit. I knew which one it was. I think it's Iceland, right? I think I made the mistake of calling it Greenland last episode, and I think it's Iceland, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, let's jump into this, guys. We're gonna start here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Oh man. Sorry for the squeaky chair. Mappa. Right into the opening. So we do get, sometimes we don't get the opening in the last episode. Oh, I need to take in the song one more time. Right here. Uh, go so hard at the end. I wonder what the full song is like with it going like hard at the end. It feels like it could like go hard like that and then go back to like the normal. I don't know. Oh. Iceland, yep. Yep. Ah, damn. Damn. He was young when he left. Yeah. Does Leif know? He doesn't even know how old he is. Oh. The idea that he just realized. Oh. Is his mom still alive? She was kind of sickly, wasn't she? Oh, good time for the title to pop up. Bonk. So less kids still there doing kids things. Yeah. How many of these guys are around? No idea. Mention Yova. Oh! Oh no. Did he know names back then? He got it wrong. Are they messing with him? They're all defensive of Yova. What is she gonna look like? Oh, she's a beast. Even return the money and she's still... Oh shit. Oh. She's gonna hit him. She doubts it. Oh man. What? She disown him because he left. Wait, what? Frickin' Yova. Damn it. Oh. They just assumed he died. There's a lot going on. It is gonna be crazy. Will Thorfinn remember something? I wonder if he'll have a way to prove it. Yeah. Oh my god! Oh, Jesus, Silva. What about his mom? She's still alive, okay. At least as far as they know. And he's grown up so much, too. There's no way to recognize him. Hmm. Let's go, Bug Eyes. Alright. Is that her? So much older. My mother always knows. Freaking Bug Eyes. Oh. She didn't doubt it for a second. Oh, yeah, the eyes. He does look a lot like him when you put them next to each other like that. Oh. No. Damn. Is it raining? Oh. Alright. Oh. Is this the guy that, oh, I don't remember his name. That went on the ship with them? Ari. The kid's hair. Is he the one that ended up with Yova? No. After all this time, still shoulders that burden. No. Oh. Gonna give the family time to catch up? No. Alright. Nice. No, well, the doubter. Inheritance scam. Hmm. She gonna doubt it and hit him again. Yep. Oh, okay, just hit him out of anger. Oh my god! Damn. She's a beast. You broke our home. I'm used to getting hit. That's what he said during the fight. He took 100 punches from a guy from freaking the King's Guard, and she one-shot him. Alright. Damn. This is awesome. Uh... Thorfinn playing when he was young, getting over eager, breaking kids' arms and shit. Uh... We saw Tor's working on a pan like that too in the very beginning, didn't we? Kept having holes in it and stuff. Hmm. Ah. Damn. Yeah. Damn. Jeez. Right. 16 years is a lot to cover. Uh. Rebirth. Even Bug Eyes' face. Like someone who doesn't have like that deep of a connection. You know. No. Mm-hmm. Oh. Thorfinn, son of Thor. Yeah. Yeah. Could have used the money from the farm, but I get why he didn't take it. Without my help, that is. Oh, Lee. Awesome. Oh, damn. It broke during the fight with Ascalon, didn't it? Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Look at that sky. It's beautiful. Where are we now? Oh, is this a grave for him? Or the slave? Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. No, it was a slave. No, it was a slave that he traded a shit ton for. Yeah. Oh. Who? Oh. You look. Is that little him, or is that one of the kids here? Looks a lot like him. Oh, okay. Damn. Just kind of like another memory working its way in. Damn. Oh. Oh. What is this? The end of last season, we had. Oh. Oh. Hmm. That was them running. That was young Helga, right? Oh, young Leif. Whoa, was that Askeladd? Yeah, I think that is. Holy shit. That was his armor. Oh! He looks so different, shaven. I almost didn't recognize him. His haircut, too. Wow. I was almost like, who's that at first? But the scar is the only true way to guarantee he looks so different. Wow, okay. Yeah, they definitely, I mean, they left it in a good spot to where if there was no more, I wouldn't be super upset, right? Like I can just assume like Thorfinn went and tried to do what he wants to do, you know? Establishing this country. But but there also could be more, you know? So is this no, I don't think this is new. Excuse me. Oh man. But yeah, that was a that was a really good little like I think either one of these episodes, I think last episode could have been the end, but and then we could have maybe started the next season with this episode. But either way, I think either episode is just really amazing. Thorfinn coming home, being nervous about it, forgetting his age, like realizing it on the way. He's like, "It's been so long. I was 6 years old when I left. Wait, how old am I?" You know, like realizing that he doesn't really know, and even Leif like didn't correct him. So I'm assuming Leif might not necessarily know either if he didn't keep track of the time too much. But that is it, guys, for episode 24, and that is it for Vinland Saga for now. If there's another season, I will watch it. This has been an amazing show. Um, I said this in the discussion of, I think, last episode, where uh, I think rewatching this season made me appreciate it way more. There's a part of me that found it a little jarring going from the relatively fast-paced, fast time skips and craziness of season 1 into what we had for season 2, and I wasn't expecting it. I like expected the farm stuff to be like a few episodes and then like war breaks out and Thorfinn like gets right back into it, because I just didn't have like a bearing and an understanding of like the direction the story wanted to go with the character. And I'm not saying that because it didn't go that way that it's bad. I actually think this is way better than I could have ever even imagined. It was just so jarringly different than what I had expected and what I had experienced in season 1 that I had some like jet lag trying to like catch up to whether I like enjoyed it or not. I wasn't sure. But after rewatching it, the little stories they told and everything were just incredible. Like, I think on a rewatch, I much more appreciate Arnade and Garter and that whole story and journey than when I originally watched it. I mean, it was definitely a beautiful and emotional scene when we first saw that, but yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'll talk more about that. I rambled more than I kind of planned on there. I'll talk more about that here in a few. But I should talk about this episode before I get into the show as a whole. So yeah, Thorfinn went home. We had Yova, who didn't believe it was him. I mean, after potentially like 16 years or whatever of being gone, roughly, uh, it makes sense that she'd and like Leif had come back before and been like, "Hey, I found him," but you know he didn't bring him back. So she's like, "Oh, you know, you're just coming up with things to make us hopeful." Like we saw how broken up she was when I think they found out about Tor's death, right? And that's when Yova was going off on like doing all the chores and everything, not wanting to feel that emotion. And then we saw her finally like break down later that night when the mom was like, "Just stop working, you know, just you need to stop." And when she stopped working, then all the emotions hit her. I think that was over Tor's death, and maybe even the fact that her brother was, I'm sure they mentioned that, the brother was missing as well. So, yeah, it was a lot to take in. But, yeah, like, she's kind of the kind of person to put it aside, right, and just focus on other things. And it makes sense that she just wouldn't believe it when he first comes back. But then we have the mother with the mother's intuition and everything, who just immediately walks up to Thorfinn, even with Bug Eyes making the joke there, being, "Hi, Ma," like, she still walked up to Thorfinn and knew. Like, it's that trope of, like, the mother always knows and everything. I don't know how, like, real that would be. If someone didn't see their kid for, like, 16 years, from, like, 6 years to adulthood is such, like, a drastic change in appearance. Like, could a mother know if you didn't say anything, right? But obviously they said something here. But there's been other shows I've seen where they didn't say anything and they just knew. If you want the biggest example of this, it is the Chimera Ant arc at the end of it of Hunter x Hunter. There's a moment where one of the characters gets turned from a human into an ant very early on as, like, a kid, and then, a while later goes and walks in front of the mom, and the mom immediately recognizes her without even, like, anyone saying anything. So it's like, I'm your mother, of course I know. It's like, it was a beautiful moment, but it's like, really? Like, if you see a bug creature, all of a sudden, are you just gonna be like, yep, that's my daughter. She turned into a bug at some point. But sorry, I wanted to lubricate my throat. Anyway. But regardless of that, we had the mom recognized, we had Yova doubt. Later on, Yova finally recognized and then still pummeled him, saying, like, "Where'd you go all this time? Why weren't you here?" But she ended up getting with Ari and having, what was that, like, 3 kids, I believe it was. So that's cool. Good on Ari for getting it in. He was trying to propose to her and everything, or give his pitch before they left with Taurus and all that back in the beginning of season 1. So, but yeah, she's a beast. I mean, she was pretty strong even back then. She's the daughter of Taurus, and also the one doing a lot of the farm work and everything around the house, with Taurus being gone, and Thorfinn not being there as he got older and stronger to really do a lot of the physical labor. She was doing a lot of it, and like I said, she was strong even back then. So yeah, she's just a beast. I love the idea that, like, she throws him into the wall and he's like, "Don't worry, Einar, I know how to take a hit." Just like he said during the time that he took 100 punches, calling back to that, but then he goes down. I love that he goes down in one hit. Imagine what that guy, what was his name? I wrote it down. Imagine what that guy would think if he saw that. Draught would be like, "Oh man, this Thorfinn survived 100 punches from me, but you take him out in one? You're a goddess." But yeah, that moment where he, like, sat down and told them his whole story. Obviously, the highlights and all that, but what a powerful moment. Like, I can't imagine sitting down and listening to someone who's been gone and out of my life for 16 years, but is a part of my immediate family, telling me the story about, like, what happened to them. Like, hell, I sometimes read some of those, like, war stories of people who get, like, caught, taken as, like, prisoners of war, get out, and just reading that with me not knowing them at all, and it's, like, crazy to hear about it, So I can't imagine someone that you just know on such a personal level, like, going through something like that. Must be crazy to hear about. But yeah, just a lot of, like, beautiful moments of, Einar realizing this area and seeing what it's like. He's experienced, these hardy lands that you can farm on basically all his life, you know? He spent his life on a farm growing food, and then when he became a slave, he was brought to a farm growing food, you know? And then he gets brought to this area where, you know, you can do a little bit of wheat when the time is right, but most of it's just craftsmen, you know, fishermen, and livestock, so... But yeah, we have kind of our next setup for the journey. We have, you know, getting a lot of money with Leif's help in order to get ships, people, livestock, you know, everything you need to, you know, inhabit a new land. It'd also be interesting because there's some people already there, right? Like, Leif was, unless Leif was lying about it, he was telling stories in the beginning where he had, like, that hat. Um, you know, of like the Native Americans or whatnot. I don't know if that's like the right term to call them of like, but yeah, like the people who are already there, that's going to be a complication too, right? You're just going to go there, and I mean, obviously he wants peace. He's not going to fight over the land, so he has to try to figure out a way to communicate with them when not speaking the same language, and try to make peace and see if there's a spot that they can take for themselves and start building and all that. Assuming they make it all the way there, you know? So, I did like, now, I don't know if the story is gonna go this route. Very early on, I was looking up some stuff, like I looked up like Jomsvikings, I think in like the second episode of season 1. And I saw that someone named Thorfinn was the leader of the Jomsvikings at one point, on like a Wikipedia page. So, I will say that I have had that in the back of my mind of like, does Thorfinn, like, does this not work out, or somehow does he become the leader of the Jomsvikings while he's trying to secure the money and funds and everything to start this country? You know, that's like kind of the things that I've been thinking about ever since I read that at like very early on. But I've also tried not to let it like influence my thoughts too much on where the story could go and everything, because things are different in this a little bit. There's some creative liberties and everything they're taking. So we could just not have that be where Thorfinn ends up. So, yeah. Anyway. As for the story as a whole, I mean, this episode was fantastic, but I think most of what we saw kind of speaks for itself. I don't think I really have much more to say in regards to this episode. But the story as a whole, I've already talked a bit about how, like, the jarringness going from season 1 to season 2, but after rewatching a couple reactions, I really enjoy this season. I think I enjoy... Like, I'm more excited to watch reactions of this season than I am the last season, and I think that says something about how good the season was, you know? So, but yeah, just I love seeing characters change and develop, and, like, to the extent that Thorfinn has, you know? That's one aspect of humanity that I'm not the biggest fan of, is there's a large portion of humanity who are very, very stubborn. And they, like, people, you know, the whole line of people don't change and things like that. Obviously, that's not true. People do change, but there are a lot of people that it is almost impossible, no matter how much evidence you put in front of them, it's almost impossible to change their minds, you know? They're in this dark place, this, you know, whatever you want to call it, where they just dismiss anything and everything just because they don't want to admit that they were wrong. And people are so scared to admit that they were wrong. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with it, like, being wrong. Hell, I'm wrong all the time. And I make mistakes all the time. And I think, like, people, like, we'd be so much better at communicating and, you know, understanding each other if we could just accept that people make mistakes, and, you know, accept that you yourself can make mistakes. So, having a story where the character changes so much from Thorfinn in season 1 just being a big ball of hatred and, you know, not super fun to watch because he's so one-dimensional, where it's just, every 2 seconds it's just kill Askeladd. Oh, some big events happening in the world. Oh, I want to duel Askeladd. Some people just died. Oh, I want to duel Askeladd. And then we get into season 2, and he lost his target. He doesn't have that anymore. So what does he have left? He's empty. He doesn't even see the value of life, but along the way he finds it, and it's just such a beautiful story. Absolutely loved it. And Einar being this like kind of good boy anti-war from the start, helping push Thorfinn into this, mindset a little more, was just a really, as much as it sucks that Einar lost his family and was forced into slavery, it might have been one of the best things to happen to Thorfinn, is having Einar come into his life rather than someone else who might be more like Thorfinn was. Like, I wonder how Thorfinn's development would have went if someone all full of revenge and hatred. I mean, sure, Einar was a little bit full of revenge and hatred. Like, there was that aspect to him about what happened to his family. But he was still like that good boy. But what if there was someone more like Thorfinn, just willing to kill everyone and everything with no regard for who gets hurt in the process, became a slave right next to him, and that personality kind of like led him down that way. I don't know. It could have went another way. But he was already kind of starting to change even before Einar showed up, so maybe Thorfinn would have still followed that path regardless of who was next to him. But I definitely really like Einar as a character. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. I can't wait to watch another season if there is one, and if there isn't, then come to terms with accepting this as the end, and it being a beautiful story for what it is and what we had here. Not to say, like, sometimes when you say like it's a beautiful story for what we had, I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it in like a bad thing. Like, genuinely, I think it could end here and I'd be perfectly happy, as I said before. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I will be replacing this show with Oshi no Ko. There was no poll for it because the last poll I did had 2 shows that tied, and I told myself that I really wanted to watch Delicious in Dungeon because my friends watched it. Oshi no Ko was the other one, and I wanted to be able to talk to my friends about it. So I decided myself that the tiebreaker, I could have done like a random number generator, randomly picked. I could have tried to do like another vote with just Oshi no Ko and Delicious in Dungeon and seen like which one won, but instead of doing all that, I decided that I'd pick Delicious in Dungeon to replace the previous show that ended, and then when my next show ended that I would normally do a poll for, instead of doing a poll, I do Oshi no Ko. So we'll be starting season 1 of that next. So as usual, I have early access, so 2 episodes ahead of time. You can get the first 2 episodes of Oshi no Ko on my Patreon right now if you're interested in seeing that reaction. Links in the description below should be popping up on the screen. There's also the Patreon show tier where you can get shows that aren't even released, like Solo Leveling, Free Ren, things like that are on there. Check that out. And yeah, I will see you guys in my future reactions. Bye-bye.